Hills, and so he's actually home tonight. He's never here, so I'm super excited for him to be here, but I wanted to vote. My question, Jim, I saw an interaction between you and Bill. Did you not want to be the leader? Because I thought you were the leader.
No, after speaking to Holly, as I explained many times in the past, I started this group, and when you do that, you become the temporary leader. And
Right.
as I explained over the months, there was going to come a time where we needed to select a permanent leader and admins, and now's the time. Holly put a post up yesterday that I hope everyone has seen.
Yes.
So we're going to make this as simple as possible. The people that are on the call presently, all of you are regular members to the call and to the pages. So we're just going to go around the room. Phyllis is going to keep a tally. Just simply state who you would like to have as your permanent leader and admins. And then Phyllis will tally up the votes. And if there's any tie or anything like that, we'll extend it over to the pages for a couple days. But Holly asked me to send this recording to her tomorrow morning. So if we could just go ahead.
I have one more. So do you want the job or not want the job? Because in my mind, you're the guy. But if you
it's all up to you. You know, you know me. I'm in this for long term.
Okay.
You know?
Okay. Then I'm voting. Are we taking the vote? I'll vote.
All right. I'm going to do that too. I'm voting for Jim.
Jim, I vote for you, Jim.
There we go.
I'll vote Jim.
Okay, that sounds like Bill.
That was Bill. Bill, you were going to be second choice because I didn't know if Jim wanted it or not.
Well, I just assumed he was, so I mean.
No, he's the guy. He's the guy.
All right, I got you down, Bill. You're voting. Okay, go ahead. Who's next?
I'm going to vote Jim as well.
All right, Miriam. Who's next?
I will vote for Jim too.
Sounds like Pam J. Say your names, please, in case there's no video or anything.
Angela for Jim as well.
Okay, Angela, thank you.
So I'm the only one left.
Oh no! Wait a minute. Let's see. Wait. Well, maybe so. We've got So Kim and me and Bill and Miriam and Pam J and Angela. Vicki, I know you're new. Do you want to? You want to think about it for a couple of days or so?
Well, I'm too new, but I've had my interactions with Jim, and he's the only one that's, responded and helped me out. So for that, I would lean on him as well, as far as he seems to know his information to help me out here.
All right. That sounds fair enough. That's a reasonable answer there. Well, I think that's everybody who's here right now. If anybody else comes on, we can just interrupt to
Okay, that's
see
fair.
where they're at.
And thanks,
Okay, well,
thanks everybody.
You're batting 1,000 here, Jim.
I have to cast my vote, and it's for Bill.
Hey, quit throwing in a monkey wrench here.
There's more to this.
Okay.
Because of that, and because of our interaction yesterday, no one else in our group has ever come forward to challenging us to become a leader or an admin, whatever. So Bill did, and when I send this recording to Holly tomorrow, I'm also going to text her and ask her if we can have co-leaders.
Yes, that would be.
Yeah, because if something were to happen and you needed that help, that backup.
Right, I could also use some help because Bill, like myself, is on both pages.
Yes.
Facebook and MeWe. We both probably spend more of our time on Facebook, but MeWe needs some attention, in my opinion. So I will probably ask Bill to, let's say, be the leader of the MeWe group.
Okay.
And we can, in that sense, we would be co-leaders, and because
Yeah, I'm down. I'm totally down. Whatever I like it.
We
Yeah,
love you, Bill.
you know, I have
Yeah,
to
I'll vote for you for MeWe too, Bill.
I have to transfer information back and forth all day long sometimes, you know, to
I
make
vote
sure
for Bill.
to make sure. Thank you. To make sure that, you know, everybody gets the same information, you know. And I know you're busy also, Bill. It wouldn't take up that much time, but
No, I can navigate my phone. Not a problem.
I see that. Yeah, you're on it all day long. Okay. So with that said, we also we might as well do it now, because that's going to be next, is we need to select admins.
Phyllis, I vote for Phyllis.
Wait a
Right
minute,
there.
I gotta switch gears here.
Have the
Okay.
admin write them down, Phyllis.
Okay.
I vote for Phyllis, but I want to make sure that she wants the job.
Yeah, I volunteered for it. I'm in
All
here
right.
for whatever's needed.
You got my vote.
Okay. So far we got Kim, Angela. I didn't hear, who was it that said something before? Is there somebody else who would like to apply?
I
No.
vote for Phyllis.
I vote for
Oh.
Phyllis too.
And who was that?
That was Miriam.
Oh, Miriam. Okay. And anybody else? Let's see. Angela already put her name in and already said something. And Vicki, you don't know me, so I understand you want to abstain.
Okay,
Thanks.
Phyllis.
I don't-
Phyllis,
Feel like we're doing the
Phyllis-
primary here, the California primary.
Phyllis,
Actually better than the
It was that
primary.
easy.
Phyllis, as you know, is the admin for MeWe.
We need an admin. Yeah.
I've been taking since Eric disappeared in November, and I'm still concerned about him, but I haven't
Yeah.
heard anything. We could also select an admin for the Facebook, if anyone is interested.
If you guys need help with that, a lot of my job right now is actually expanding our social, so I'm on my social channels throughout my workday. So that's something I could easily incorporate, which would be a little bit easier than what I was
Okay,
trying
I
to do
vote
before.
for Miriam.
I vote for Miriam.
I vote
I
for
vote-
Miriam.
I vote for Miriam as long as you have the time, Miriam.
Miriam.
The social channel I can handle, yes.
You're automatically elected. Just heads up.
Ah, okay, no, we got to keep this official. Okay, Bill votes for Miriam. Pam, I'm voting for Miriam. Who else? Angela
Mm-hmm.
and Kimberly.
Yep, Miriam.
Okay. And let's see, anybody else? Vicky, you don't know Miriam, or you do?
I don't know anybody, but I have a
Okay.
question. How many people are in the California group?
Say again, please.
How many people are in the California group?
Jim knows pretty much better than I do.
We're looking at about 67 or 8 this week.
Oh, cool.
But that doesn't mean that that doesn't necessarily mean that those numbers reflect participation.
I see.
That's for sure. Jim,
You'll find-
what's your vote on Miriam?
Yes,
Okay.
you'll find out more about that, Vicki.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
All right, I think it's right now for this group on this call. It looks unanimous for Jim as leader, and I guess I am the admin for MeWe, and Miriam is the admin for Facebook. And that's
Hey,
it.
let me just say one more thing. The purpose for this vote directly from Holly is for no other reason except the main group admins, Thomas, they want to make sure that we as a group are covered and not at risk of losing funding. So kind of sounds like it could be close, or it wouldn't be so urgent,
Right.
in my opinion.
Mhm.
Yes.
And that's it. So we can move on to individual projects or group projects. Well, that'll be the second hour. So anyone interested in discussing their individual project and would like help with, tweaking your ideas, getting ideas from others, getting some input from others, and also, as I sent to Kimberly, the information to submit your project.
Yep. That was great. That's great information.
So whoever wants to start, feel free, and then we'll, again, go around the room.
Can I go really quick so I can go?
Sure, go ahead.
Sure.
Okay. So my project's coming along really good. The people behind me, the land is completely cleared. They've burned everything up. We are making boxes. The hothouse is almost completely done. The seeds are started. In fact, here, I'll show you. And I have some pictures for you guys, but I want to get them put together. You know how I like to do a presentation. So we have 150 seeds for everyone right here. And they're under an LED light with a seed tray warmer. Can you guys see this? This is like a heating pad right here. And so the seeds come in at night, and we all had a little workshop, and we planted. It was really cool. And then the strawberries came in, and we had to construct 6 boxes for those, and those all got planted in yesterday, and everything. We had to paint trees today, the fruit trees, so that's all done. Everything got rewatered, and we're working on the trees at their place next. Mostly everything is trimmed. It's coming along beautifully, and everybody's doing an amazing job. So with very little money right now, this is the most amazing thing. So everything's coming along. Like I said, I have like 4 or 5 pictures right now, but I want to get some more before I submit to you. And I have a half article written that goes along with it, Phyllis. So I'll give that to you, back to your email, and then you can put that on are you putting it on the YouTube or the California webpage?
The website.
Okay.
The website. Yeah. Well, if you want to do it YouTube, you will have to talk to Michael J. I don't know the YouTube.
Yeah, I don't think we'll do that.
Okay.
So I should have that to you, Phyllis, by Friday. All that stuff.
All right. Well, I'm going to be gone a few days, family celebration, but I can catch up when I get back, because I should be back maybe Thursday.
Okay, that sounds perfect. Yeah,
okay.
It's all coming along beautifully. The place looks amazing. I don't know. I'm going to ask them for a before picture. I didn't get a before picture, but it looks fantastic now. I mean, it was literally, and I told you we found that car that was in it, and we had to haul that
off. Oh, yeah.
Everything is just coming along so nicely. And everyone's working together, and it's all good. So, yeah, I'll just get that stuff to you guys, and you can see it. I'll make them like a mini presentation out of it.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yep. Okay, guys, I love you. I got to go.
All right. Okay, thank you very much, Kimberly.
Thanks so much, Kimberly.
You guys, do we have a meeting with the whole left coast coming up?
Sunday, 5 p.m.
5 p.m. Sunday. Okay, will you put a link out, Jim?
I'll send you the link.
Okay, thank you. I love you guys. Have a good night.
Good night, Kimberly.
Hey, congratulations on your newly elected offices.
Right. Okay. Thank you.
Bye. Bye, guys.
Okay, just a second. I see we have another new member that I announced a couple days ago. Jacob, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. How are you?
Hi, Jacob.
How's it going?
All's well. Could you do us a quick introduction to the group, and just give us a brief account of what triggered you to come to THI California at this present time?
Okay. Well, let me see if I can start this video here. Well, prepared for all this, but hey, why not? I was at a Wake and Aware conference back in 2012. I just recently figured out that Tommy was there too. I've met David Wilcock, Graham Hancock, Bob Dean, real good guy. I was able to commingle with a lot of guys there. I was on the kind of Truth and Wave length, I guess, a couple years before that. Ever since then, my life's been quite it's had its ups and downs. It seems though, when I'm listening to Tommy, listening to Duncan, listening to Randy Morgan's big time, love all those guys very much, and about my heart. And have had some interesting individuals. If you listen to Randy Morgan's in the book The Revelation, we just recently put out, and some of the tactics and some of the I don't know if it's cabal, but I live in an area here up in the high desert. I don't know if any of you guys are familiar with California up here from, between Apple Valley, before Barstow. And it's an interesting kind up here. It's fun up here. It takes a certain kind of to stay up here. I've been born and raised. And it's just, with all there's a lot of drugs going on up here. And with that, it goes along with a lot of how can you say, on a lot of different levels, you know what I mean? Research. I've been, I don't want, like I said, I'm a big reader. Here, like 2-3 books going on right now. Like I said, Tommy's been in my heart, a long way through. It seems some of the shows, even relating with him, seems to almost immediately relate, like with me and my life and what's going on. Sometimes, which is really kind of, there's a lot of synchronicities going on. Is what I'm finding out with everyone. And just watching everything and being a part of this. And so I decided to, want to sign on and get on the wave, anyway. A building inspector. I've been big construction background. A family from, they're either teachers or nurses. Have my high school diploma, and I hold a master deputy building inspector, basically third-party inspector. I have experience writing legal documents as far as that, and as far as the construction side of things. I've been having a lot of energy phenomena going on, especially, I don't know if any of you guys may have had this, but like when Tommy had especially that one interview with the Queens, and that interesting one. I don't know how far back it was. I was laying in my bed, and when that amazing individual that was, that they were all having, when she was talking, I was straight getting visions like of the Ursa Major constellation, and then a few other things going on, and like a very beautiful violet, if you will. And it was just a very like after that interview, and then I got into more Randy Morgan's and more Duncan. I kind of caught up to par, if you will, and let me hear. And like I said, very handy, a weld, a frame for up in Lake Arrowhead. We're kind of an outdoorsy guy, like rock climb, and like camping. Pretty much handle anything with a steering wheel, anything that shoots, kind of more or less. I'm not no military crazy background or anything like that. But as far as being an outdoors guy and having fun, and that's kind of me, in a nutshell. So I'd like to say hello to y'all, and finally put my face on there and out there, and that's me, kind of more or less in a nutshell.
Thank you very much, Jacob. Listen, we have a group list, our California group. And on there we have people's full names, their county, and we get their email information and skill set. So you're just on Facebook, or are you also on MeWe?
I'm not on MeWe. I've kind of kept I should get on Instagram too, but I just have a Facebook account. And
okay, I'm going to ask Miriam if you would contact through a personal chat to Jacob, give him my email, and then if you want to, Jacob, be on our list, then I'll show you what we need, information we need. Would that be okay?
Absolutely, yes.
Okay, and that would
Yeah,
be
I'm interested. I have some friends, and I recently have some friends that are, kind of like-minded. Like, we always haven't paid our taxes in over a decade. We're kind of been against the machine in certain ways and aspects, but a couple of us are really good farmers. I was hearing that last interview, the last meeting you had that was like this. A lot of good ideas and minds on my side too, and abilities. Just everyone's just kind of wanting to do anything, and I was kind of like, I loved what was her name, Kimberly. There's so much to do. Oh my God, I love that girl. I can't wait.
Yeah, a lot of energy there. I was also at that Awake and Aware conference. It's too bad none of us knew each other at that time. That would have been fun.
Right, absolutely. Well,
Yeah.
fate has its way of working out. Even if it has to come back around some way, shape, way, or form, it will.
Yep.
I really there's a lot of going on. There's a lot of shit. I'd like to talk to you guys more. And even focusing on consciousness, even around you, and how you can affect it. And I have a grounding video done by Robert. I can't remember his name. But it talks about how it heals just by grounding. You know what I mean? We sleep on a grounding mat, walking around with your shoes off, and I'm getting my parents and the people involved in it. And it's really working fast. Like, things are actually, what I'm seeing on an energetic levels, things are working on a very fast pace now. And it's really amazing to see, especially if we focus and we kind of all come together in like something like this using. I was kind of like anti-AI, big time for a long time. I don't like electronics too much. I have my computer, I have what I need for my job, my phones and everything, but I keep it very, very separate. Don't like TV that much. But with this is kind of, swaying me the other way, and then hearing about the Majestic 12 and really catching up with some of this and Q and everything, oh, wait, maybe we can really all come together and using this, and so it's, really fun. Thank you for that invite, and I will be taking that down and be contacting you.
Hey.
Thank you, Jacob. And you mentioned a few things I'd like to comment on. First of all, synchronicity seems to be a common denominator in this group. And you've seriously showed up at exactly the right time, in my opinion. Thank you for mentioning your skill sets. And it's going to, I can already see how it'll fit right into our group projects. We're focusing presently on not only our group project, but also everyone's individual projects. And we're helping each other get these projects to proposal time, and also helping people to submit their projects when they're ready. And at the same time, a lot of everyone's individual projects seem to just flow into our group project, which we are presently focused on being eco-villages, which I'm sure you'd probably be interested in with a construction background, farming, by way purchasing properties for building eco-villages, incorporating farming, health and wellness, learning centers, etc. So good to have you. And we're going to, Kimberly gave us her up-to-date on her proposal or her project proposal. And I'm sure others are ready to jump in. So feel free, whoever.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Yeah, got some ideas, and I'll start putting some stuff in, pen to the paper, so to speak, and we're on the computer, and as it's proven to be efficient and it's working. It used to work against me, I swear. This stuff would shut down, and all kinds of problems would happen. I still bump into it a little bit, but it seems like things are really operating on a smooth fashion, okay, and really excited about it. So yeah, all kinds of stuff. So happy to meet you. So thankful, and can't wait to share and meet you all guys and put faces to names and get to shake hands and want to see us sooner or later. So yeah, look forward to it.
Thanks for jumping right in.
Absolutely.
Appreciate it.
All right.
Who's next? Angela, hi.
Hi, I can share my thoughts, because I think I'm still in that thought phase. Like I mentioned before, education is something that I feel quite strongly about. And I actually got this inspiration, like, I don't know if it was during the week or last week. And I'm still trying to figure out how I can bring this about. I support like an organization that sort of helps foster kids that age out of foster care. And so I was wanting to see how, because those are like, since we talk about homelessness and stuff, those kids, and the probability of those kids like ending up on the streets are so high. And the things that they need most of the time are the people that I speak to say are like, beds and like practical things, like, because they're already considered adults. So I was sort of hoping, like, like with the eco villages and all the other stuff that we're doing, somehow to incorporate a space for these kids that age out of the foster care system, and like provide some kind of education, like job training or something that helps them to find themselves and find direction, But that's where I'm at still with it. I trying to figure out like how all of that can come together, who I should talk to and what I should do still. But that's my thought for a project that I'd like to get moved. And
Can I chime in on that?
certainly.
The best way to, like, what you're telling us right now, just start writing it down on a piece of paper. And leave some lines in between. So let's say your top line would be help children. And then underneath that, you'd write where are they going to live. And then underneath that, how you going to feed them. And then, just keep writing it down. And the more you look at that page, ideas will come up and a plan will start forming. And then just keep talking to us about it, and we'll fit it in. Because I was actually on a hike today thinking about that exact same thing for some reason.
You just got on my wave.
Yeah, that one's never even hit my radar. I'm like, why am I thinking about children and where they're going to live? But yeah, I mean, that could be something. We got many houses and people that are in that center. People that are in the community can actually, get paid for helping raising these kids or something, and they can learn skills doing whatever. But the more you write it down, the more things will pop into your head, and then you won't, if it's on paper, you'll get less confused about it, and it becomes more clear.
Okay.
That's good advice, Bill.
Thank you.
You could call it a youth, youth development center or something like that, where they would be housed and they could get some job training and some life skills training, all kinds of possibilities there.
Well, and then this other thing popped in my head. I saw this big, huge mansion. I mean, this guy, it's like a winery. I'm like, God, I've never seen that. I'm like, that would be perfect for these kids. Hopefully when these guys start dropping off and they're out of money, maybe we can take over, not buy these things, but like take over some foreclosed homes, not a big mansion like that, but just homes that have like 4 or 5 bedrooms. We have people we trust, because how these molesters get in and it's a nightmare.
Yeah.
And they can also run a daycare out of there or whatever. But I think when this happens, a lot of people are going to lose a lot of stuff. I just have a feeling. So I don't know. That's all. That was my chime in.
Thank you. That's amazing. That's a great idea. I'll get right on that.
Well, yeah, the more you look at it, and then like I like to put mine up on a wall just so I see it every day, and then I'll go, and then it'll hit me. But, you know, everyone works different, but that works for me because I'm a scatterbrain. I got so many things going on. If it's not written down, I can't. So.
Okay.
I'm back to planning. I got seeds going on. I'm planning, but I'm here.
Can I add something to that? I appreciate that sharing because I like to want to help children too. And your idea with being on the board to see it every day, because there's just so much out there. There's more homeless people and children than there, and the houses are empty because, you know, the real estate people have kicked them out. So it's insane that eventually something's got to flip flop so that, that something can, you know, we could start utilizing some of these houses. I mean, it's getting to the point, and I really like that idea. Just put it on the wall and start adding to it, because that will make your brain go forward with it, and things just come together. So thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
Very good.
Thanks for chiming in, Vicki. And that's what we're all about right now, helping each other get our individual projects and group project submitted not as soon as we can, but yeah, as soon as we can. Because we're all feeling like, I mean, if you look around, you know, even on the outside of our community, you know, things are collapsing fast, you know, and if you're listening to Tommy's shows, there's all kinds of hints. Funding is going to be coming, and we need to be ready. That was one of the last things Thomas said to us on one of his last shows. You know, we need to be ready to be funded. If we're not, they're just going to pass us by. So
right.
That's what we're all about right now. And I'm sorry, Phil, I do see Pam's got her hand raised.
Okay, cool.
Excuse me.
Pam.
Really quickly, can I just ask a question for a project like this? How far along do I need to get it before I, like, how together does it need to be before a proposal can be made?
Why don't we let Bill answer that?
Yeah.
I'd say just a big general overview.
Okay.
And make it like the way I look at it is it's like a mobile home. So whatever happens, let's say, because if you lock it into one thing, it's got to be here, it's got to be this many bedrooms, it's got to be this many parents, it's got to be this many kids. Forget all that. Just make a big overview. Here's the idea. Here's how this will help people. It can help 5 people. It can help 100 people. But here's the overall plan. And yeah,
okay,
that's how I do it.
All right.
You never know. He could come up and we all get, we don't know. We just don't know. But if you have a good plan that's helping people, that's the only focus I think we should be worried about.
Yeah, and Kimberly's such an inspiration. Like she's got she's got the structure, she's got it going, it's already happening, and you know, and that is so inspirational.
Yeah.
I would recommend, if I may, just in preparation, go ahead and do your overall structure plan and get that proposal in, and you know, get a general idea how many people you want to try to help and that kind of thing. And make sure you specify California. But also in the meantime, though, start a real business plan, a real nuts and bolts, because once the funding starts coming, you got to be ready.
Mm-hmm.
Very simply. And that was that it then, Angela? Otherwise, I'll just go ahead and have Pam J. go ahead.
Yeah, thank you.
Pam.
Hi, Pam.
Hello. Well, I posted that article about the cable companies, internet being pretty much monopolies, and they are charging whatever they want. And so I was wondering, how could we perhaps have a co-op where the people are running these businesses so we can charge less and make it work. Because I just have internet right now because it would have been around $150 to have cable and landline. It's ridiculous. So that's the idea, but I don't know how to put it together.
Yeah, that's a biggie.
It
That's a biggie,
is.
but maybe
That's
we
out of
can
my
throw
pay
around
grade.
some ideas.
Do you have something to say, Bill?
Well, that's a big one.
It
I
is.
wouldn't even know how to go about that. Because all those guys that have those companies are all tied together, I think. I mean, they all go to the top. That's like the top of the spider web. You know, you're talking cable, satellites, phones, Verizon. That's all one big unit, I think, at the top. The conspiracy side says that's all run by whoever's running the whole show.
Yeah.
I don't think it's like, a couple kids in the garage just happen to come up with AT&T and we can take them down by themselves. And I don't know. I wouldn't even know where to go on that one.
Yeah, things will have to
But it's
change at the
definitely
city
needed.
level.
Yeah.
Well, can I say something? Things start spreading like wildfire when it's a good thing, and her idea is a good thing. And everybody's doing this Spectrum. Well, they're finding out Spectrum isn't so hot either. But if you have all your ducks in a row with people that know, how to do, that are in the communications business, that want a better way too, just like Tommy said, we create them. Why do we have to go with them? You don't. Maybe, so what if ours, we pay a little more or whatever to start our own, and then more people come, and then, we don't need them after a while. You won't need them. It won't matter. So, but you just need to know all the, FCC guidelines to be able to allow to have your space and stuff. So, I don't know. It's just a thought.
That's a good idea.
Any other ideas there, Pam?
Not really. I just
Okay.
put it out there.
All right.
I suppose we could start one ourselves. Just
Yeah, a cooperative, but we have
know
to
how
get
to
the
do
city's
that.
cooperation, and we have to bring at least other options.
right
The city
people.
votes on one. They decide on the one carrier in an area, and so we have to get around that somehow.
Oh,
Well, you don't get around it. You have to implement yourself into the city council. You start voting him in. We're kicking somebody out of Ventura. We're physically writing in our vote for our city mayor for this election in in 3 days or whatever, how many more days it is, because
that's cool.
they're liars. They're liars, and you got to do a grassroots in your city and in your county, and that's how it starts. The more we get in, the more we start voting that way, because otherwise, you're right, they do. They'll have the whole thing their way. Because I've been in the city council meetings, and they just roll their eyes when you have your 3 minutes worth of speaking time. They don't care. They don't
Yeah,
care.
been there, done that.
Right.
Okay,
Yeah.
then Miriam.
Yeah, I just wanted to comment on the communications piece just because that's an industry that I work in. It's a very monopolized setup, and
Yes.
it's AT&T definitely is a heavy player in that, and they've been that way for years. And they actually, the rules and regulations actually come down saying that they have to share this ownership. So by law, they essentially rent out their towers and stuff like that. There are a lot of smaller players, but in the end, they definitely own a lot of it. However, there's things that you can do that would take someone coming in that would have either like a developer background and that would be able to work with kind of coding and APIs. But there are platforms out there and smaller companies. My previous company that I just left was actually one of those, where you can kind of build your own network. And what we did is we worked with a lot of people that were either, they had big developer teams or they were developers themselves, and they would create their own communications solution or offering and sell that and essentially resell it. And then you had folks that were kind of evangelists and just loved doing what they did and really loved playing with these APIs and built these really incredible things. I think the challenge would be finding someone with that skill set, but they have found ways to actually do this. There are regulations you kind of have to be careful of, but it's pretty easy to I don't want to say easy. The information is out there as far as the regulations. I do have a lot of that in documentation that I saved just because it was stuff that I needed to know. But it was really interesting to kind of see that there were a lot of smaller players that were able to set up their own communications systems, and these systems were being used across the globe. So they weren't just in one state or the other, or the US. I mean, there's even people in Canada that are kind of creating their own type of Spectrum or Comcast, but they're not as near as corrupt. But the ability is there. So it's, there's a lot of factors that come into it, but this is something that you could approach. It would just be kind of identifying how do we find the skill sets of these people, and maybe it's someone in the group that has it, or we kind of put it out there in our minds and ask for folks like that have that to find us one way or another. But it is doable. I just wanted to kind of jump in because I know it's very intimidating as you're looking at players like AT&T and Verizon. You hear things about T-Mobile and Sprint and all these kind of big players, and they are a huge monopoly, but there are ways that you can work around, and actually we could probably build a network or work on something that could set up the group pretty easily.
Miriam, you sound like the perfect person to help Pamjay put that proposal together.
I'd be happy to give you the insight that I have. I'm not a developer, but sadly, I could give you the pieces and help you start or at least give you a good picture and give you all the information that I know, and hopefully that would help a little at least.
Great information.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else? No Ken tonight. I thought we might be hearing from Ken, but he seems to be AWOL.
I have a question. What is the email or the site where I go to the link? Where am I going to find that as far as, are we going to set up kind of a platform, if you will, like, on a process of the proposals? And that's kind of a question for me. Being in the building, I've worked with developers. I was even talking to a guy, a very established gentleman today down in Temecula, really. But we're doing over in Norco, doing a intermediate school. And we're talking about, it's so to get in with the cities, right? And if and I was just thinking on the way home today, well, what if money really isn't an option? I think part of it is because if on the level that Tommy is thinking about, people really got to wrap their mind around this. This is something that I'm really kind of coming to it too. Because like I said, I meditate. I've been, put it like this, I've been messed with and followed since right after, even before that conference. You know what I mean? I've had helicopters. It looked like I don't know if it was a Black Hawk or whatever, but I live up in the high desert next to Edwards, and I could see the guy smile, and it gets to the point where I'm not even worried about if they're listening to me or not anymore. For what it is, it's kind of gotten to be a fun game. I must be giving them quite a show. That's kind of look at things. You know what I mean? Turn around and kiss this, and I love you guys too. Peace. That's kind of how I do it, like in the window sometimes. But anyways, it gets to the point to where if this is really on the level that Tommy's talking about, and it's literally about finding good property. I mean, I'm talking about just as far as the farming aspect. I've had things where you could help. Well, I've had ideas and talked to people where they were shut down, but all the work construction trailers, the job site trailers they have with a little bathroom and everything else. Put those together like mobile homes, make a nice little park where they can, and then for work, all they got to do is tend to the garden, work the garden. You know what I mean? And learn how to grow things. Again, be part of the community. Get into development. Some of these people that get off drugs and they get a little opportunity, like that double-decker bus video. That was a great thing too. I was like amazed by it. That was beautiful. It's about just opening your mind a little bit, and it's about with the cities paying them in freaking money. Plain and simple. If you're paying them money, they're going to stay off your back. Like there's another. I was talking to Dave about the avocado farms down in Fallbrook, and the farming down there. It's just really hard because the city's a ditch and they want a shit ton of money to dig a well, which you need to do, and all that kind of stuff. But I think if we can get our mind around the money and get some legitimate today, proposals going with as far as like that, what do you call that, eco village. I don't know if any of you guys have ever done any study about Project Venus with Dr. What was his name? I love this guy. Love that guy. Everything. If you look at Project Venus and what they were doing, it's another little strand to go down and study for a week or two if you can. But it goes along with the same eco type thing. And if we can get in and just pay some of the cities, and I think a lot more of the places are going to be open as long as you got the money, and that's the part, right? So and I'm somewhat literate. I'm not so sure about, building proposals, but some of this other stuff, wrapping your mind around, if we can get like a baseline or a base like site or something we can all refer to, and then, bounce back and forth as far as the ones that actually want to just make them move that way. And as far as have the ideas and have the manpower, everything, to do it. But just, as far as like kind of putting it all together on a nice piece of paper, making it all nice and neat, just a platform for that, that's kind of what I'm looking at or seeing if we can do.
Okay.
ThePeoplesClub.org.
Yes.
Okay.
Pop in there for the proposal.
That's where you want to go, Jacob, for, to submit your proposal. It's got a page there that lays it right out for you, and for all of us. And to answer your other question about setting up we have a website. If you want to write this down, it's our THI California website. It's newearthcalifornia.org. newearthcalifornia.org.
Perfect.
And you're welcome. It's your website as being a member. You're welcome to upload any information that you want concerning what you just spoke to us about, concerning our group project, which we're going to be getting into at the top of the hour. Cool. So if you want to upload something on there, if you're familiar with WordPress, you can do it yourself. If not, Michael J. and Phyllis take care of all that for us.
Okay.
Michael
Awesome.
Michael J. is a member. He takes care of Thomas's websites. We also have a YouTube channel. If you want to put videos or any information, we have a YouTube channel under the same name.
Okay. Under the New Earth California?
Yes.
Okay, and YouTube. Cool. YouTube.
Yeah.
You know what movie I love about YouTube? There's a lot of YouTubers and stuff like that, but what's it? It comes out in Hollywood sometimes. What was it? Hellboy, where that politician, and he comes out and he's talking about the internet. He says, "Oh, I hate YouTube." There's something about YouTube because it went from the boob tube and getting sucked, just sucking on the freaking middle of the idiots, where you can actually use it through intellect and through right intent. It's almost came to YouTube University, if you will. It really turned, and it's kind of cool because, like I said, I have a lot of like-minded friends with a lot of like-minded ideas. Even getting into tones and healing with some of that stuff. I don't know if you guys know much about the 11th harmonic and all that kind of stuff, but I mean, like some serious stuff. We can, in triangulating sound and like major, a lot of cool stuff. So yeah, I'm really, really glad to finally get plugged in here with you guys. Really, really just thankful. Thank you so much.
You know,
That's great.
I feel it's my responsibility also, Jacob, to tell you what we kind of spoke about yesterday concerning inviting your friends.
Yes.
We don't have a problem with that.
Okay.
But the main group admins, from the beginning, anyone that comes into our group first needs to join the main group.
Okay.
So it's not that we don't want your friends coming into
Right.
THI California. Just explain to them to go to the main group and join. And as soon as they're accepted, they can come right in here. Just send in another request and we'll bring them right in.
Absolutely. Yeah.
They just have to repeat the process of applying, though. It doesn't take much to do. You answer a few questions. It's really, really not difficult.
Right. Well, and it kind of goes into like, you know, people were, and Kimmy was, again, I love Kimmy's energy. We're like, everyone's got to kind of break that fear barrier of like trying to come out and like talk and be a part and coming together, because I think it's pretty much past that now. Like I said, things used to, when there was someone on the site where, and I told them what to do as far as ground and all that kind of stuff, it's been heavy. It can get heavy depending on where you are, but I pretty much got to the point. It's to the point now where we just need to come together, like family up, and like, you know, figure all this out. And yeah, it's been a long time coming, in my opinion. And I've been through a lot of my, like I said, ups and downs, and quite, like I said, universal kind of background guy. And so, you know, look forward to getting some of this rolling with y'all. I can't say it enough, you know. So, thank you.
Thank you.
Pam, do you have your hand up again, or? Okay, never mind then. Thank you.
Yeah, getting back to what you were talking about with YouTube, we're all well aware of who YouTube is, Jacob. The reason Michael J. Offered it to us is because it came with the web host, you know, for our website. And Michael just started it up. The only thing that we post on there at the moment is this call that we're on right now. Tomorrow morning, this will be uploaded to YouTube. There won't be any visuals. It's all just audio. But we'd be happy to see anyone start putting uploading other things on there. And we haven't been just like Thomas. He has a YouTube channel. We haven't been taken down ever. And the reason Michael tells me is because he has us listed. Well, presently we are unlisted, but Thomas is under education. So they don't mess with people that, you know, they just mess with people that are, you know.
Isn't that interesting?
Under conspiracy theories and whatnot, you know.
Right. Yeah, and that was another aspect I would like to, you know, you start talking, you know, like I said, if everyone's worried about, just think if there's an on you all the time, you start talking negative about the 1%, right? Or the cabal too much and everything. And let's face it, that they put it like this, they've had to go through some stuff. Who knows? I don't want to know everything they've been through. I can help possibly with some, you know, I've been through even the course with Steve Richards and holographic kinetics. Really looking forward to, and that kind of, it's called Eden Healing is the next course I'm looking at, and all that kind of stuff. When it comes to that next level metaphysical stuff, you don't really want to battle it or fight it too much. And it's about what I've got my mind around is that if we all can work with, like, it's not about, you know, if this is how it is, and, you know, they're obviously going to be hanging out. I think there's a lot of people's plans that got ruined in that realm of things, and everyone's kind of like up in the air now. And it's like, you know, we're still all human. You know, we're all like here together, still trying to figure it out. If you just fucking like, you know, take the stick up out of your ass and like, you know, kick it, figure out. We're all of us are like real forgiving people, I think. You know, especially in California. This is kind of the forefront. For some reason, being that it's kind of, you know, where Atlantis was. I've heard someone else say that earlier. Like, this is really like where a lot of new birth comes as far as fashion, we have Hollywood, everything else. Let's try and make it that. Why not? You want to work with us, figure it out. You know what I mean? There's a way to heal. Tomorrow's a new day. That's what I think a lot of this with the whole golden age thing has come through, is that tomorrow is a new day. If you literally decide tomorrow that, hey, maybe I, can switch things up and work with, and, get to it, you know what I mean? And, kind of turn around maybe some of the wrongdoings. It's all about karma, and, you can only do what you can do with the time you're given, right? And so that's, we all are here, like, doing stuff like this. It kind of is a great example of maybe if we do have them looking or whatever, but, hey, there's some actually comparable people here that are actually not sitting here just want to freaking bury us. It's interesting that lynching, my friend just brought it today. Congress just passed today. Why is it Congress that just passed no lynching? If I remember right. And like, if you really think about it, you know what I mean? Like, there's something on a deeper scale, the next level of things really kind of speaking there. Maybe they're kind of a little worried about things, but in my life, where I come from, yeah, we all can be pissed off and bark at me, but what are we going to do? Treat them the way they would treat, you know what I mean? How we've been treating, that would not make us or anyone or anything any better. So let's get over that, you know what I mean? Forget. And some of the stuff, for some people, I understand there's some things that hash out possibly. But as far as like we're on the developing side and like healing side, like, let's go. Come on, let's join the team. Let's rock and roll. Let's do this. Give us a little shot. Give us a little breathing room. Quit, barking down our necks and screwing us up, and let's figure some stuff out together. Why not? What do I got to lose? Obviously, they've been losing a whole lot and not figuring things out. Maybe we do have something going on here. Some of the people that are telepathically, intuitively, psychically, we are waking up. There's something to it. And I'd like to just put that out there if this is going public. So,
thank you. So at this point, top of the hour, we normally transition into our group project, and everybody's involved. And just to give you a little bit of background where we're at the moment, our main focus is on, like I said, farming, purchasing large properties for the purpose of establishing eco-village communities that incorporates a lot of our members' individual projects, such as health and wellness, such as what Angela spoke about earlier. And we've also, we're in communication with, you might want to write this down when you can, we're in communication with what we call the Left Coast People's Club that was set up about a month ago, and it incorporates California, Oregon, Washington, and Hawaii presently. We're working on Nevada, helping them get their group set back up so that they can be a part of it also. So it's the West Coast border states, all of the THI groups. And we turned it into, like I said, what's called Left Coast People's Club, or Left Coast PC. And you can find that by going to Facebook, or I could send you the link. And we meet bi-monthly at 5 p.m. on a Sunday, every Sunday. And it's just a group of THI members from all those different states. And the reason it was set up was because we found that we all had similar interests in our projects. And ours, just to give you an example, one of the things in our particular project was to, mine especially, was to put in a proposal for a 3D printer to build small homes or to construct small homes. And once that was mentioned, everyone else that was on that call from all the other Western states jumped in and said, we have the same ideas for this project, including the gentleman I spoke to in Hawaii who lived on Maui. So eco-villages seems to be one of our common interests for developing the entire West Coast, which can in turn help homeless people. As Angela mentioned, setting up centers for children's centers for learning and all different types of situations for children. Putting farming on the community, the particular piece of land that one of our members, Ken, is working on presently is in Mendocino, and it's 1,058 acres that has a river that runs through it. And I'm not saying that that's going to be the one we choose. That's what we're working on. And basically, we're just we're focusing on putting in a proposal for a large piece of land to start with, to put a prototype so that we can extend this along with the other Western states, such as Oregon, who's also growing hemp presently, that we can trade back and forth. Not only the 3D printer can be used by all the different states, but the hemp can be transported to all the different states to use for hempcrete and other uses, as we all know. So that's kind of where we're at presently, and we're going to get back into it now. This is what we do in our second hour. So feel free to comment. We do use the raised hand, except for those that are on phones, and Phyllis will bring you right in.
Okay, it looks like Bill's got his hand raised.
Hi. So on this, so with Ken's project aside, because that's like this special thing, well, maybe it could work there too. But I don't know if you guys listen to Tank, but he's got like this cement or asphalt stuff it's better than what they use on our highways. When I guess what I'm getting at, when I envision these communities, are they like I just picture dirt roads, and I mean, what kind of structures are we talking? Are we talking like nice places that are big with land and yards and like a town center? I'm just having trouble putting it together. I mean, I know how I see it in my mind. I'm just wondering how you guys see it, I guess.
Anybody want to answer that?
I'm seeing tiny homes and definitely a lot of different centers, learning centers, health centers. You got farming, so you're going to have maybe some fruit stands and produce stores, and you got to have some kind of a place for people to do their shopping and get their goods. And we have to have some kind of a structure that would work for be taking care of utilities, taking care of this septic systems or whatever we have set up. I would imagine it'd be septic systems. But I mean, you'd have to have some kind of a little, now that we're talking about that, do we want to incorporate it as a little town as opposed to just
that's the
part
thing.
of another town and under the thumb of somebody else's government, city government, that kind of, and county and so on?
Well, we did discuss that, Phyllis, and
Okay.
you know, as we're going through this, you have to remember all the old structures are collapsing. So, let's say municipalities and permitting, county permitting facilities. In my opinion, I don't think we're going to have to deal with them when the time comes. You know, quite frankly, why would we want to deal with them?
True.
Specifically, if you purchase a property, okay? Even today, you can purchase a property and not have to deal with localities at all. All you have to do is purchase it under an alloidal title. Look it up. And you don't have to pay property taxes. But nobody tells you this. Every mortgage company, even when you buy a house, every mortgage company knows about an alloidal title. But they don't offer that to you. They don't tell you about it. But I'm serious. Research it for yourself. If we purchase, we put in a proposal for a large piece of property, and explain to the trust or the foundation that, you know, we're purchasing this property by way of an alloidal title. I would just about bet that we'd be able to get funding sooner than if we were going through any municipality or, you know, state government or county government structure. You know, what do? All they do is siphon money off, you know, and charge people ridiculous amounts of money for permits. And as Jacob will probably attest to, I was in construction myself. Most of the people that the county permit department hired, I used to have permits just for specific things in the area of construction that I worked in, and I'd have to call in for a permit, and they'd send guys out, and they didn't know what the hell they were doing. They didn't know what the heck they were talking about. To a point where I had one guy come out. I was putting a shower pan in two homes. I had them all set up, 3 of them, so that I could just call the guy one time, and he could come out and inspect all 3 of them and sign the permit off. Well, he comes out and he comes in and he goes, "I have to be honest with you. Quite frankly, I don't really know what I'm looking at." And I went, okay. I said, I got you, but I needed to get it permitted. So I didn't argue with him. I just said, "Here," I pulled up a bucket. I said, "Sit down and I'll walk you through it." And after it was all done, I explained to him step by step how you put a shower pan in. And the guy said, "I really got to thank you." He goes, I went to 3 inspections this morning and I had to turn these people all down because I didn't know what they were doing. And he goes, "Quite frankly, they didn't do it like you did." I said, "I do it exactly the way the state expects us to do it. You know, all you got to do is pull out a printout and it walks you right through it." Anyway, the guy said, "Thanks so much," and he signed it off, and that was it. But, you know, this is the type of people you deal with. So we don't need to deal with them. You know, if we purchase a property, we purchase it outright, or the trust gives it to us by way of, well, they own all the assets, don't they? You know, so who really does own these properties that we're looking at? You know, we might just acquire them, like Bill said. You know.
So I have a question. What you're saying?
Go ahead.
Can I ask something? Yeah. What you were saying with the alloidal title, I just did a 4-day thing. It was like an online thing with Ron Gibson, and it's all about land patents. And he says if we don't, it was really involved, and it talked about the alloidal title. And if we don't, as a people all over our country, get our land patent, even if you think you own the land, they'll take it away.
Absolutely.
Because it's kind of like owning a house. You don't own anything, really. Even you just get this deed. You're
Correct.
basically renters of it even after you've paid for it. So you're exactly right. We need to get it like that, written like that, so that it will be ours, and you will not have to do or answer to anybody. But then you're going to have to protect your land.
See, Vicki,
So
that's the big secret when it comes to mortgage companies and title companies. It's all fraud,
Right.
you know. And
Yes.
Before, let's say, I can't remember exactly when Thomas said this all changed, but 2 or 3 years ago, I believe. Before that, the Federal Reserve owned all the properties, all the mortgages. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so when let's say you go in to sign mortgage papers, you know, for a new home, everybody's real excited. You know, oh, I'm getting my new home. And the first thing they tell you after you sign that paper for the loan is you have to go tomorrow morning, either by yourself or with a lawyer, to the title company and sign title documents. Once you do that, what you did was the property you purchased the day before, you just gave back to the state. That's why.
Exactly, and you don't know that either.
No, they don't tell you that stuff. That's why you have to pay property taxes on that property for the life of the loan, for the life of the mortgage, and even after,
Yes.
when you if you were to pay it off, you still pay property taxes because you signed that title. If you don't sign that title and you demand to have an alloidal title, you don't have to pay property taxes.
And how many people understand that and have done it, right?
Not many.
Exactly.
Not many.
And then to reverse that is really hard.
This is the kind of information that we need to put on the website and get out to everyone.
Yes.
You know, things like that.
Okay, Jacob, you got your hand up.
Yes. Okay. Couple things here. Yeah, it goes even. I have a friend. He even claimed a Moorish type where he can claim his own property that he's on right now, his own country. There's something to do with being and claiming your own. And this goes into. I've even went up. I mean, this is way back in my research. I'd have to pull in some old stuff. We research it again. But where our forefathers made, you know, when it came to like the Indians in their land. And what's sovereign and what's independent, and our forefathers, when do we become a native? I want to know by being an American citizen. When my grandfather came over here, you know what I mean, both of them, you know what I mean, I had an Italian grandfather come over, and my other German, Johann, he came over, and then, you know, Bill of the Wagons came over here for the gold rush, all that kind of stuff. When do we become natives? And then when do we get that right is where my question is. Because as far as I'm concerned, I mean, I don't know how many generations it takes to live on the land and be considered native. But being in America, I mean, I consider us all natives, you know. So that being said, you can, and I have a few things on my end too. I can really start turning up here. But I was interested in the spelling of that alloidal. How do you spell that?
I believe it's ALLOIDAL.
I think it's ALL, but I could
two L's. Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, ALLOIDAL. Yeah.
Yeah, just research it. You'll be amazed at what they've been getting away with. And when the people find out, that could be a turning point.
Oh
Right?
boy, yeah. I haven't even been able to broach that with my hubby yet because we have a house, and if I tell him that, he will be so bummed. I don't even know. Can you go back and say, I want this alloidal now?
Okay, well, I'll stop the recording for a while.
No, that's all right. We can take that offline. That's fine.
Yeah, and it's you know, when that being said, if it comes to buying and getting this land, and like you're saying, not getting the property tax. I mean, when it comes to the structure of that, I got a lot. There's a lot of that coming my way where I can do that. That little the Happy Farm video, and if you go into the documentary, what's it called, the Little Happy Farm or the Little Farm, something like that. go into that, and it goes into the runoff and the water, and it's a beautiful thing. And like, it's, I really believe that that's how people got to get connected in the green, you know what I mean, with Mother Earth again. You know, I got quite a few things that I've been through in the spiritual world too, and we're like, that's the step back. It's not going back to horse and buggy. It's not, but like taking time to ground with Mother Earth and grow your own garden, grow your own stuff and everything else. Like, what I'm really interested to see the model, what you guys got going for this now, because building it would be great. It'd be, you know, it'd be really fun. That would, and getting everyone to understand that and get a little bit more detached from your electronics and like more in tune with yourselves and your family, you know, self-teaching. Tommy, and I've really listened to Tommy this and doing the self-work, and you don't understand how much it really helps by taking that time with yourself, especially outside, you know, and it's, I'm just in buying land there, and you'd want to keep that sacred and sovereign. And it is almost about, it's even going back to like, you know, that old Constitution and Bill of Rights stuff. I don't know if you guys listen to Drake. He had some good stuff. He talked about him and Tommy back in the day when they were started. I love those guys when they were together.
Drakey cakes?
Yeah. Old horse hockey. Yeah, I love
Yeah,
that.
we've been there.
Couple, kick back with that guy in a few. But and then, you know, things come out later on and people get talking this and that. There's a lot, you know, there's a lot, I think, there's, you know, especially back a few years back, is a lot more tense. But I think everyone can like kind of come out and like kind of like, you know, let's go have a cup of coffee. Let's go hang out. You know, it's been hard for me. I used to drink a lot and, you know, everything, and, you know, kind of getting a little more sober and being better to yourself and getting that clean water, you know, the rain stuff, the water. You know, one of the realizations that came to me, you know, and later on I researched it, the surface of the planet is about 72% water. So there's a big representation of how much water we have in our bodies, right? And, you know, being able to clean that water and have that, you know, that's a big initial part of it. And then it goes into the land and like, and having the whole relationship and doing things a lot with your hands, with the land. And it's, it gets you in tune more, and you're not so detached, you know. And seeing all these kids nowadays, like on the iPads, you know what I mean, they're just stuck to the, like, you're worried about the zombie apocalypse. And it's, you know, that's pretty much like, you know, the whole theory, right? You know, it's like, I've been on the construction site, you know, concrete trucks driving on everything, people getting hit. They were so lucky that they didn't get ran over because they're sitting there on the phone with concrete trucks just come moving in and out. I'm like, this is the zombie apocalypse. It really is. You know what I mean? Like, people need to wake up, you know, enjoy the sun, enjoy the sky a little bit, and come together here and then, you know, figure that out. And it's just, yeah, I don't know. It's kind of went off on a tangent there, but it's when it comes to the properties and everything else, like there's areas for it, and like drilling our own wells, like, you know, people want to get to that. You know, let's get off the system. Let's get everything in completely independent. You know what I mean? If we can do it with this as a model, like you said, and we can spread it around, you know, have their website to go to, and then spiritually on how to interact, why interacting with certain people or certain, you know, get into your, you know, I mean, your stones, you know, crystals, whatever you want, all that kind of stuff, and relating with colors and, you know, on the basic side, have some basic, you know, platforms to, you know, because it's going to happen when people are able to do that. They're going to be kind of freaking out, like, you know, I'm getting this, I got these crazy dreams, or, you know, this is happening, I get this weird vibration, like tingling in my hands, and like, you know, all that stuff. So it's, yeah, there's a lot to, like Kimberly said, people are worried about like robots doing the like basic structural, you know what I mean? Like taking over like the industry as far as the backbreaking work and everything, like 3D printers. I'm like, there's so freaking much to like do for everyone, like on ourselves, and like teaching people, like being teachers, and that's what we're really going to be. And I'm really getting down to it. That's the whole thing, and it's interesting to see how the fast it's coming together here. I'm really, really excited about it. So yeah, thought I'd throw that in there.
So whoever asked the original question on what we can put on these communities, you know, hey, we're all visionaries here, you know, and that's why we're here. And we need to get creative. And that's what we're doing. We're coming up with ideas on how we want to set up these communities. A simple answer is if you want to see how others have set up eco villages, you can find it's a real easy search online. Like I said, last year I participated with some of them on the West Coast just to gather information on how they did it. Some of them are off grid. Some of them are still semi on the grid. Others are totally on the grid. You know, some of them have communities with, beautiful homes that people join the community and purchased a lot on the community. Others are, have earthen type structures. If anyone knows what that is, you can find that on YouTube. It's basically incorporating salvageable materials to build homes, such as old rubber tires, along with concrete and bottles and cans, anything that's recyclable or salvageable, can be used to build a home rather than using wood,
I think it was Bill who mentioned what we were going to put on there, and I think he was bringing up something about dirt roads, and he said something about some kind of special asphalt. Was that it, Bill, that you were talking about? Because I'm seeing paved roads, not just dirt roads, maybe some dirt roads in between farming areas or something, but I'm thinking paved.
Tank keeps talking about this asphalt, but it's not asphalt. They have it in Australia, and it won't crack. It's self-healing. It's softer. If the water hits it, it soaks through it.
Isn't it recycled plastics or something so that you don't do the landfill with it? Something like that?
He says it's sturdier. He keeps bringing it up. I'll catch you next time and mark it on the tape. He also has these countertops with these certain lights. He's like, you can get these now even in the stores that will actually put off oxygen. He used to do this thing every week where he'd have like an inventor on that he's going to fund when the funding comes out, and they'd tell him all about their projects they had. They had some great ones. But the asphalt was one, the breathing counters were one, a lot of healing stuff. But yeah, so, but I think in the community too, we can also have baseball fields or a soccer field or a movie theater. It all depends.
Yeah, all the above. For those that want to participate, you come join the community and offer what you have, offer your skill sets. We have in this group alone, we have architects. We just heard from Jacob of his experience and skill sets. And I'm not saying we buy this property and we just run in there and just start haphazardly, throwing things together. It's obviously going to have to be done with, I guess you could say, professionals, so to speak. Just not from outside the community. We don't have to participate with any of that. If we purchase the property, we do what we want, according to our guidelines. Has anyone ever been through Long Beach?
Yeah.
There is miles and miles. If you go on the Pacific Coast Highway in Long Beach, there's miles and miles of containers. Have you ever seen homes built from those containers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? Yeah. We need to get creative, and that's what this call is all about.
Okay. Yeah, out here in the desert, you put a couple of those containers together, weld some I-beams on there. I mean, you can make a triple story. That's another thing too is, we got the 3D printers. That's a really cool aspect. Sometimes some people may want to get a little Hobbit style with it, or, start building like into the ground. And it's a very smart way to do it. I used to frame for Doug Ferguson, like that guy that custom homes up in Lake Arrowhead. I framed the house of the owner of Supply Sunglasses. Same guy owns No Fear Clothing. Also the CEO of Disneyland up there. Get to that where you're like, and you get into efficiency, and you get where you utilize. I've got ideas where why don't people have like even their air ducts run in underground? Why are all the air ducts up top where it's hot? You need to insulate it when you shoot it straight underground. Come back up. You'll never be too hot. You'll never be too cold. Be nice 60 degrees. And you can be on top. People would never freeze when you have the hurricanes and even power outages over in freaking, East Coast. Run everything underground, water, all that, It's kind of the same concept. I think efficiency is key. Again, if no one's familiar with the Venus Project, I haven't looked at that up lately, but that was something I was big on back then. Right after 2013, 14, all that kind of area in 2012. They had a great, having your gray water, your clean water, and everything. There's ways to do it. It's all there. I think, the more and more we get in harmony with the whole planet and showing that, I think they're better off, things would be the better example we want to set, so people don't have to worry about all the sewage. They don't have to worry about all this and that. If everyone can sustain themselves. And like I just took a trip from here to Mammoth. You know how much land is out there? And if you could just dig a well and have some power, you know how much people could spread out? And like, it's people are so worried about this overpopulation thing. It makes me freaking sick. It really does. So, but if people are smart enough and they're like this, I'm glad God that we're going to be setting off that example. Absolutely, because I got the ideas. I got some people with some really good ideas with it. So,
Kimberly and I think Kimberly and Sean, when he was on the call last week, they were talking. It was Ken. Kimberly and Ken were talking about the free energy issue. I mean, we get those things freed up where people can the things they've invented, if they can be brought out and used. That can be incorporated into an eco village, and that would be beautiful.
It's a game changer.
Yeah.
You get a little machine, the size of a generator or basketball, she was saying. I remember when Drake was saying it was a little bit bigger, the size of a bigger generator. But I mean, you can get that, start setting off. That would inspire people. You don't have to electrocute it. And if you could, and then think of all this, if you didn't have to worry about energy. What could you develop then? What could you do with that? I mean, you're talking lighting, you're talking heat, you're talking a lot of fun stuff that can happen. So it's it depends on what comes out our way too, what they have. 20 we're 20 years behind when it comes to government and that technology and stuff. But maybe there may be a little blending here and a little drop-ins along the way and seeing who deals with what and how we handle it.
Does anyone remember when Thomas, on one of his recent shows, mentioned he throws these hints in there, and he mentioned one night, are you willing to move? Being in these groups, are you willing to move? Well, there you go. If we were to purchase a property, are you willing to move there and get involved?
Tomorrow? Yeah, sure.
I could be.
Rather than living here in the city,
like
I'd be there in a heartbeat.
Yeah,
That's what I was going to ask. Are we all living together on this land?
Mm-hmm.
Quite possibly, if you choose to. It's an alternative community lifestyle. And if you really want to get creative. Look at Mark Lacasse from Florida. Look at his presentation. He has 10 acres proposed down in somewhere in Florida, that's larger than the Disneyland plot, specifically for THI, for convention halls and learning centers, and I mean, it's a pretty massive project. So, we choose to do things a little different, but that's what we're here for, to share information.
Yeah, I could see Pam's idea of the cellular phone service and also the other services for internet and landlines and whatever was needed, but that could be part of the Eco Village community too.
Yeah, that was
our own local service.
Right.
And I wouldn't fit into a tiny house because I'm an artist and I've got my paintings and all my tools. I also sew.
Well, what I'm thinking is that we would have a cooperative art center, not just, that could be a little area could be added on to places as people need them for special things, whether they work with tools or they're artists, craft people need some spaces. We could, but a nice craft art center would be great.
That's really great. Yeah.
Yeah, that's something I'd like to add on to, because another thing where the whole robots or the AI thing, like I'm kidding, we're like, this is great because people are going to just be able to sit around and create art. Culinary arts, which is a vastly growing thing. Think of all the floral planet and all the ability we have to get different food, different places, different people. I mean, we all are going to be able to sit around and enjoy and eat and make music and develop that kind. And then, like I was saying, what I thought came to me a long, long time ago. We're all going to go from like 3D to 4D. Now it's we got this 5D thing going, and research with David Wilcock, people possibly turning light beings, and there's different things going on with all that, but that's a whole different conversation. But it's the whole 4D thing is like people like being able to develop, these different skills. Some people may be, clairvoyants, intuitives, psychics, all kind. The list is huge, right? And it's to be able to develop that, I think is going to start. People are going to need to start going on that artsy, craftsy kind of type style like mode. And in order to take up your time, okay, what are we going to do now? Since we don't have to work 40 hours a week, we actually can do something we want. What do we want to do? Well, we got to, lay out, a platform. A red carpet full of stuff. Get into this. I play the jaw harp, the didgeridoo, harmonica, a little bit of guitar, and rock climbers. There's so much stuff to get out and interact with, and you have fun. Like, okay, I can play this, kind of cool. Or, you both like suck at playing something, but you actually, had fun doing it. And you learn something about each other. Like, I think that's really what it's about and getting to. And then, I think there's such a cry for it. There's such an epidemic of homeless. And like that double-decker bus video was a great example of it too, where not all the homeless are just a bunch of drug addict dickheads, like assholes looking very stupid to rob you. They're really not. Being up here in the high desert, there's quite an epidemic of it here. Some people they just need a little help. They just need a little something to do, a little help, somebody would hang out with, dude. And they would love that. It would really save their lives. And there's plenty of I'm telling you, there's plenty of hands willing to do the work, help out. And you can take a little time on filtering, on the whole, interview process, if you will, and stuff. But it's, I think a lot of them, right, seeing this and how fast this right here, this platform is going off, and seeing M take over for Randy and everything else, it's really kind of, it's fun. And I think to see this come, like, as far as people that's been on the wavelength, we'll say, for over 10 years at least, some of us maybe 5-10 years, whatever. But it just, once you see it, once people see it, I call it the Doubting Thomas syndrome, is cured. They want to be a part of it. That'll be like wildfire. I know it will, so I'm just really stoked again.
Well, you know what, Jacob? I could just see you being the one who starts up the music center. So you could write up a proposal for a music center. and it can be part of the eco village.
All right, we can get there. You know, my friend Dallas Edward Newman, DJ, phenomenal artist, has a little juice shop down there in Glendale, I think, in LA. Yeah, get this guy in with some music, and it's a big network of people. Like I said, born, raised, and I'm excited to, all of us to meet and have fun with that. But yeah, we got to get the proposals there. We got to get on paper, get something to where you can track. I think it's more of a checks and balance thing. I'm not sure. I'm not as plugged in as I think a lot of you guys are with some of this stuff. So, but from the outside in, being very much a part of it, and we'll say a metaphysical level, I guess, for sure. But it's cool to come together with you guys.
To begin with, it's an experience. It's an experiment in community living.
Yeah.
With that said, has anyone ever been to Burning Man?
No, I want to. All my friends. That's what me.
There's an experiment. There's an experiment in community living. Rough draft. Picture 60,000 people out on the playa in northern Nevada, in tents. And I do believe there's some RV areas. So far, I've only been there once. And for me, it was a fantastic experience and a really good getaway. Like Jacob was saying, the artsmanship of there's all camps, and the structures that they built. It goes on for 2 weeks, and they actually build these crazy structures out of wood, all different types of things. When I was there, they built this giant wave out of plywood. I used to pedal out there every day and watch these carpenters, So, a lot of people say, it's just a big drug fest. Not necessarily true. Yes, there were some drugs there that I noticed, mostly psychedelics, but I didn't experience any violence, any theft. If you brought bikes, they had a circle in the middle of the whole thing was set up circular, and right in the middle they had a place where there's only two things you could purchase there: ice and coffee. And you would ride your bike in the morning. You would ride in to get ice to bring back to your camp, and get some coffee. And they had a community center where all kinds of activities were going on: yoga, all different types of things, dancing, and so what I'm getting at is that's just a rough form of that many people living for 2 weeks in that type of an open, no rules community, and everybody seemed to get along real fine. As far as what I saw.
That's Burning Man, right?
Burning Man, yeah. It's I don't know.
It's from barters. It's almost like they almost don't allow money except for like ice. You have to bring other ways of it almost teaches you as a way of barter.
Oh yeah, Highway 80 is backed up with what do they call it? They used to call burners going up and down Highway 80 for the 2 weeks in September is when it happens, and all the vehicles are all dusty. People come in with old buses and all kinds of crazy stuff, but it's very interesting, and it only goes on for 2 weeks, whereas a situation like we're talking about starting with a prototype of an eco village, an experiment in community living, and extending that out through the entirety of California, Oregon, Washington, and helping each other along the way. You know?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah, it's like I said, if none of you guys know about the Venus Project, it's a big one. If like working on, and he's a little more on the scientific side as far as the efficiency and running things, but it's a great place to go. Yeah, and I'm pretty thorough with that guy and all, his methods and kind of stuff like that. So it's like come back around and like if we can actually now it's like kind of how we can do it. It sounds like so. Yeah. Let's get her done, as Drake says. I'm serious. Like, anyone needs anything. I'm a single guy. I got a little Honda Civic. K5 I'm working on. I got a few things, but I'm kind of at a point where I'm actually been working on things are just now coming together. It was really hard for me. It was really bad. I've been helping out person or two that's been part of some really gnarly stuff, and wear my heart on my sleeve and all that good kind of thing. But things are just now starting to get together. You got the money to get to going and everything. But yeah, we should all just go to Burning Man. If anyone needs anything or need help or you're stranded or anything, don't be afraid to give me a call or shout me out on Messenger. Wake up with anyone. I'll be there. A drop of a hat. God, Jake's on the way, so let me know. I mean it.
That sounds good. I was thinking about when we were talking about YouTube, Jim, is Demi. She hasn't been on for a while, and remember she was thinking about going out and interviewing some homeless people and videotaping. I sure hope she did not get into trouble, but she's pretty street smart, I would imagine, living in Hollywood. So I would think.
I just saw her on a couple of posts.
Good.
Yesterday, I believe.
Oh,
but yeah,
that
I was thinking the same thing. I
don't know why she's
not just Demi. Like I mentioned earlier about Eric.
Yeah.
All of a sudden he messaged me one evening and said, "Hey, I'm not feeling well. I'm not going to make it to the call." That's the last I heard from him, and I've sent him a number of messages. And he's the type guy that, he was always responsible. You'd never really think he would just drop out and never contact anyone. Which is all the more reason why Jacob and Vicky, we have information logged with Phyllis, all of us.
Yeah.
And so
to keep in touch and stay in touch. If there's anything ever interfere with the internet, I have a confidential list of phone numbers, just in case, for those who are willing to share, because I don't give those out unless I get the person's permission to share with somebody else or something. And that's true for the emails as well. So none of this stuff is out there in the public eye. It's not up on Google Docs or anything like that. But anyway, we have that as a backup in case something should happen.
Cool.
But yeah, and I'm hoping Sean's okay too, because he's been sick for the past month or so. I don't know. He's trying to help somebody else who's sick, so he's got his hands full. But I can see incorporating some of his. That would be a big piece of this eco village. Is that that real care?
Real care, yes.
Real care, making it affordable for everybody. And I think that Sean's actually talking about. I mean, this isn't going to be free care. This isn't a Bernie Sanders deal. This is actually people paying some kind of premium, and because you're going to have to pay the service providers, whether you've got a Zen healer or you've got a real naturopath, real doctor care or nursing care or therapy of some sort, just any kind of that healing stuff. And also could be a training center to teach people how to take care of their bodies differently, different kinds of diet, the advantage of this over the other, and learn people's kind of body types, and you name it. There's all kinds of information out there. That's why we would need a lot of library kind of setups and people with knowledge.
And we can eliminate a lot of the, the maladies that Sean was talking about taking on big pharma. That's a biggie. But if that's your dream, go for it. But we can eliminate a lot of those illnesses and sicknesses, just by stopping with the meds. They're the biggest cause. Pharmaceutical meds, that's the biggest cause of just about everything.
Yeah, absolutely.
I never take a flu shot. I don't take Tylenol. I will take. You got to put me down and give me antibiotics. My mom still got to really get pissed off at me to take antibiotics if I even. I can't take. Tell you last time I took anything like that. And I've got into that whole it's this allergy. There's one interview. I think it was on Randy Morgan's. There's a few posts in Ascended Healing. Getting some of that like Lemurian. Like charge up your body and anchor. Drink the colloidal silvers. In the cold. In the wintertime. We're focused on getting back to the minerals. That's really what it is, because grounding yourself. I think some of this stuff is chemtrails back in the day. I don't know about nowadays anymore, but the aluminum and deep grounding us, and the aluminum is what makes you Alzheimer's and stuff like that. You know what I mean? That's, think of what they're doing with electroshocks and everything. If everyone just get back to learning that, and that's kind of the research part. I really would like to do this too. It's I had a vision where if everyone holds, if just to prove your electricity, you hold a electrometer, right? A voltmeter. Put it on DC, and you can get a range. You get a range of high and low of where you are, and you switch the diodes backwards, and you actually get a negative. So there's a positive and a negative flow within your hands. Within that, right? I don't know if you guys. There's a few different videos of some of these guys doing that are able. They're kind of healers and stuff, but. If we can start finding that research back in the day, they had in the dark ages, they had to cut people open and figure out what worked. We still need doctors. We got broken bones and stuff. It's not like we're gonna just walk up and grab them and heal them. We still need that kind of stuff. But it's when it comes to this next level, kind of metaphysical stuff, we can dial it in a lot quicker. I think by having that experience, figuring out what's your frequency, what's your tone. It goes with a lot of hertz, a lot of like you said, you all know too, it's a lot of frequency stuff. And if we can get a center where people, especially think about it, people that are homeless, that are so wicked far out, before and after, and do your own studies. Don't let anyone else freaking tell you otherwise. Have your own study, your own case studies by something going on like this. It's irrefutable. You can't argue with that. I don't care who you are. People real, real success, and then, well, shit, maybe this is the way. We can really start curing that doubting thunderstorm, and that's what I love seeing in people, is that light bulb moment, and it works. And they're like, "Wait, that worked?" And they look at you and they're like, "Okay, cool." Then they take off. They go on. There's been quite a few people I've done this with, and even within my family and friends. And like I said, it's there. And all we got to do is throw a little groundwork on it, a little grease, and I could down, like I said, obviously this proposal thing's it. So let's, I'm excited again. Thank you. But that's, there's a lot of room for a quick comeback, I say, for humanity, for, for our own team. So, yeah. Look forward to it.
Jacob, have you had a chance to go back and okay, you're listening to Thomas's shows. Have you had a chance to go back and listen to some of his other shows, earlier shows before, because he's been doing his shows for a while now? I didn't know if you had a chance. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of good information in there, a lot of truthing and a lot of eye openers. Just stunning information.
Yeah, you can find all of Tommy's shows archived on either YouTube, the Patreon. I think you said you contribute to.
Yeah, with that, I've seen all these. It was interesting, even on his website, though, for me, like I couldn't access, which category was it? I think it was from Russia with Love or something. Sometimes they still mess with them sometimes, or maybe it was me or whatnot. But yeah, there's multiple avenues to get to them through YouTube or the other way.
Yeah, he just did a recap on all of those from Russia with Love. I think 8 parts, and very interesting. I mean, I heard it before, and it sounded totally different to me the second time around. The other, my favorite place to listen to archives is you could download Spreaker.com. Not Speaker, but Spreaker, Spreaker. Spreaker.com. All the archives are on there, and it's crystal clear. Very rarely ever get interrupted.
Really? Okay. I was going to ask, too, you guys know where to get any of that Majestic 12 stuff? Or have any of you guys been following Q? Q seems like a really interesting aspect as far as the psyche level of things going. But as far as finding any of that, I don't know if you check out Muggsy at all, the interviewer, but something about the Majestic 12, and I really want, if you know where to get any information on that, because it's kind of hard.
Sorry.
I think if you come to the Sunday call, if you come to the Sunday evening call, it's 5 p.m. Like I said, I'll shoot you the link to the Left Coast PC. There's some people in Oregon that are into all of that. If you ask that question on that show, I'm sure someone would be able to lead you right to that information.
Cool. Thank you very much.
Yeah, there's quite a few people on there that are into all that. Oregon's an interesting state, an interesting group.
Right?
They probably say the same thing about us.
All right. I have a friend up there. I've heard of a place where you can go, and it's actually kind of an opposite. 2 people about the same height can walk. I don't know, it's a house or a place in the forest or something, but they walk away from each other. One gets higher and one gets shorter. One gets taller, one gets shorter. As from a viewpoint, I think. I don't know if it's an actual physical thing. But yeah, Oregon's I love it. It's pretty. I used to stay up there. I got friends up there and everything. So it's a beautiful West Coast. There's some magic over here. We have a fun way of starting things and getting things going. Unfortunately, you know what I mean? It's not even unfortunate. We're just here to birth things in, in a new way, new light. And, you know what I mean? Flip the script and see how, I think, as by being an example, see how fast we can do it and, clear things out of here as far as the dark energies and, welcome in, the new, light and all that kind of good stuff and, good attitudes and keep things up and chipper and, you know what I mean? Take it, one at a time, so I can do. But yeah, I'll check out that Spreaker.com for sure. Thank you very much. Appreciate that, Jim.
So we look like we're at the top of the hour.
Yeah.
Normally we go for 2 hours unless things get really exciting. And but
We're not too
this has been a great call. I appreciate everyone coming. Jacob and Vicky, thanks so much for jumping right in. You're unique. You're unique to this group.
Well, this group is awesome. I'm glad I finally got to be interacting. Thank you so much for all of you guys.
Oh, we're happy to have you here. Definitely. So I'm going to say good night and thank everybody.
Good night. Thank you. I'm leaving too.
Good night.
All right.
Good night.
All right, everybody. Take it easy.
Right. Thanks, everyone. See you next week.
See you next
Sunday.
time.
Okay. Oh, Jim, I'm not going to be able to make Wednesday because of the family thing.
Okay.
This next
Yeah,
Wednesday
you
or
told me
Sunday.
that.
I'm just messed up here altogether Sunday and Wednesday.
We're not going to fire
See you later.
We'll cover it for you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Good night, everyone.
Oh, I have a Jim.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Oh,
Go ahead.
So what times are these things? You're saying that it's like Wednesdays and Sundays? I just trying to get this straight.
Our call, like tonight, has been on a Wednesday at 7 p.m.
Okay.
Yes, and I post the link on both Facebook and MeWe every Saturday morning. The link to
and
this
you post
call.
on Saturday morning.
Yes.
Post on Saturday morning. Okay.
Yes, for the coming week. And our other group, if you choose to participate, it's totally up to you. Like I said, it has to do with the other 4 West Coast states that we have collaborated with. And that call is this coming Sunday. It's every 2 weeks, bi-monthly. That call is on this coming Sunday at 5 p.m. And
Sunday, okay.
That link also is posted, and I'll send it to you this time just to get you started so you have the link.
That would be great.
Yeah, I'll make a note of that.
Okay, thank you so much, Jim.
You're welcome.
All right. Have a good evening.
Night, everyone.
Night.
Right.
Good night.